Traction Project logo, Opera co-creation for a social transformation. The Project Traction has received funding from the European Commission Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Programme under Grant Agreement number 870610.
I am Anna Matamala, a pale-skinned, round-faced researcher with glasses and brownish hair in her late 40s.
Who do you work for, what projects are you involved in, and what is your role within the project?
I am a researcher at Universitat Autònoma de Barcelona, where I lead the research group Transmedia Catalonia. I focus my research mainly on audiovisual translation and accessibility. I am involved in Traction, where I am coordinating the evaluation activities under Work Package 4.
How important is the research methodology in social sciences?
Well, methodology is very important when you do research in any discipline, not only in the social sciences. When you do research, you try to find answers to some questions, and in order to find these answers, you need to choose the right methods, the right research methods, so that you can collect and analyze the data you need in a systematic way.
Social sciences focus on research with people. Given that individual people vary from one another a great deal, in what ways can data gathering be standardised for analysis?
Well, I think there are two key aspects that you mentioned. On one hand, defining the people that will be involved in your research will have an impact on the results. In fact, any decision you make during the research project will have an impact on your results. What is critical for me is to really know what your research questions, what your aims are, in order to make the best decision when deciding who to involve. Another aspect is how to systematically gather data on the user profiles so that you can find out how individual differences may affect the results. Again, this is highly dependent on what you aim to achieve. In some investigations, you may want to have at least 1,000 respondents to a survey in which you gather detailed data on their profile. And in other investigations, you may be more interested in qualitative data with a lower number of participants and less detailed socio-demographic information. And I would say that Traction belongs to this last case.
There have been many papers published on the number of people required to embark on research. Can a group of people be representative of the object of study in research? If yes, what number of people do you think is needed?
I think that in some research processes you may aim at a representative sample, and there are many publications where you will find how to achieve this. The issue here is that if the population that you want to represent, that you want to analyze is big, your representative sample will also need to be big. There is no magical number. It depends on the population that you are analyzing. But there are many ways of doing social research. Not all forms of social science research prioritize representative samples. You may select your participants based on the purposes of your research without aiming at generalizing your conclusions to a broader population. And for me, this has also value. For me, what is critical is the aim and the context of your research.
In Traction, there is an interesting interchange of roles. The end users become actors through co-creation. In the Traction tests, who are the end users?
At the beginning of Traction, together with François Matarazzo, CWI team, and the trial leaders, we did an interesting analysis of the people who may be involved in Traction co-creation processes. And we identified the following very broad categories. So they are professionals who can be more related to the artistic and creation teams or to the technical and production teams. There are non-professionals who again can be more related to the artistic and creation teams or to the technical and production teams. Audiences, and then a fourth category we termed as others, which includes consortium members, governmental stakeholders, advisory board members, etc., etc. So for each of the evaluation activities, we will need to define who the participants will be. And of course, we will probably need to expand this specification a bit further.
What is the best approach for analysis when working with groups of people? Qualitative or quantitative?
Well, the best approach depends on the questions you're asking and the aims you want to achieve. In Traction, we prioritize a qualitative approach. We think that by talking to the people involved, by means of interviews and focus groups, for instance, we will gather very valuable data that will help us better understand the processes of co-creation and the social transformation they may entail. Thank you very much.
Logos DCU, Vcomtech, CWI, UAB, SAMP, Irish National Opera, Francois Matarasso, Virtual Reality Ireland, Liceu, and Traction. Disclaimer: the information and views set on this presentation are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official opinion of the European Union. Neither the European Union institutions and bodies, nor any person acting on their behalf may be held responsible for the use which may be made of the information contained here. This work is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 International.